of AI. When I look at, if you think of the view of like an economist, which is where is AI going to benefit the economy, so much of it is the intersection of business and this technology. Let's just take, you run a public company. There's this period between your quarter ending and your earnings call where you do a lot of like relatively mundane things like audit your financials. And so much of that could be done by AI. So much of that. In fact, if you think about auditing, like what a great use of AI, because it probably can be more thorough. But the intersection, the Venn diagram of people who understand that business problem in AI is nothing right now. There's no one in that.
Whoever is in the center should start a business.
That's exactly right. We're in an era where if I came to you and I said, I'm starting a website building company, you'd be like, well, I don't get it. Like anyone can make a website. That's what a lot of AI companies sound like to me right now. It's because it's like it's such a novel new technology. We're like steeped in the technology rather than steeped in the value that it can provide. So I'm really bullish on the applied AI market. And that's my recommendation for entrepreneurs because I think it's where a lot of the value will be unlocked over the next 5 years. Did I ever tell you about my bet with my wife?
No, which bet?
I bet my wife in the hospital with our first child that she wouldn't get her driver's license because of autonomous driving and on-demand services like Uber and Lyft. And she just got her driver's license, so I paid her the $10. In some ways, you're a young company, but there's a few huge trends that have happened since. Number one is generative AI. And then similarly, you have autonomous driving. How much do you like pivot in the face of those new technologies, and how much do you, kind of slow and steady absorb?
For us, big focus initially was building out a technology platform and then scaling it. When we launched what we call our Gen 1 vehicles, what we had in terms of autonomy was very light. We knew that needed to take a very different approach, and so right around the time we launched the car, this was in 2021, we started work on a complete reset to that system, which ultimately launched in our Gen 2. We brought the perception platform in-house, the compute platform in, and rebuilt it around more of a neural net-based approach or an end-to-end based approach versus a rules-based environment, which is how typically self-driving was done prior to actually a lot of innovations that came out of large language models. And so that's now occupying the vast majority of our R&D dollars. So the way that these models are now developed to drive the vehicle actually benefits not having spent a lot of money in 2015 to 2022, just because the approach changed so dramatically in that time frame. How about for you? As you described Google Maps, you didn't really talk about some of the things in between, but there's been a lot of interesting things in between. I'd love to just get your take on how AI's morphed some of that.
For me, it feels like a before and after. We always say it's like BC, before Claude, before Codex. It's like the before and after. You talked about you almost feel fortunate you didn't invest in the technology prior to 2022. There's a term intellectual property, but it's like almost not. It's almost like a
baggage.
It's baggage. It's like a anchor holding you back, which is very interesting because you typically think of technology as something you build on. I mean, we've essentially had 40 years of developing software being something that's expensive and scarce. And now you have AI models that can generate software on your behalf, and you don't necessarily even need to be a sophisticated engineer, at least for certain classes of software to operate these agents. That's fascinating. We're taking something that was scarce and making it abundant. And as a consequence, it kind of upended the whole software industry.
Totally.
So we have this joke that the solution to every problem in AI is more AI. And just since roughly December, these models have gotten so good that a lot of software engineers aren't really writing code anymore. And we just launched a feature of our platform saying, why are people logging into Sierra and clicking buttons to configure their AI agent? Shouldn't they just be able to say what they want? So we launched a product, we love the name, it's called Ghostwriter, where you can just tell it what you want your agent to do, and it will actually make the agent on your behalf. I told this to my kids, they're like, so agents are building agents? I'm like, it's turtles all the way down. It's just incredible, what this technology can do. I think if you look at the history of the software industry, most of the important companies were created in these seismic platform shifts. Obviously Apple and Microsoft and the PC revolution, which they helped create. But if you look at the birth of the internet, the internet was a technology wave on which Google, Amazon, eBay, PayPal all rode. And so it's a fun time to be an entrepreneur. So I felt lucky in some ways.